It's 11 p.m. on a Saturday. You're lying in bed, scrolling. Not because anything is interesting, but because stopping feels dangerous. The room is too quiet. The silence has a texture to it, almost like a pressure against your chest. You put on something in the background, a podcast you won't actually listen to, a show you've already seen, anything to fill the space, and then, just for a second, the thought slips through. What if this is just it? What if this is what my life is? You push it down fast. You open Instagram. You text someone, anyone, something that doesn't really need to be said. And slowly, the feeling retreats. For now. Here's what nobody ever told you about that feeling. It isn't weakness. It isn't neediness. And it definitely isn't something to be ashamed of. But here's the question I want you to sit with. What if the fear isn't actually about being alone, but about what you believe being alone means about you? What you just felt has a name. Psychologists call it autophobia. And before you think that sounds dramatic, understand this. It doesn't mean you're afraid of a dark room. It means you have a deep, persistent fear of being without meaningful connection, of being abandoned, of being left by others, and sometimes by yourself. You are not alone in this, not even close. Studies suggest that loneliness and the fear of social disconnection are among the most commonly reported emotional struggles in the modern world, affecting hundreds of millions of people across every culture, income level, and age group. But here's the part that gets me every time. Think about someone, maybe someone like Maya. She's 34, has a job she's good at, a group chat that's always active, and a social calendar that never fully empties. From the outside, she seems fine. Great, even. But Maya hasn't spent a single weekend alone in 4 years. Not because she loves people, but because the moment the plans fall through, something grips her. A hollow, almost nauseating sense that without people around her, she doesn't quite exist. Maya never told anyone. She didn't even have words for it. She thought she was just an extrovert. She wasn't. She was afraid. And she had been, quietly, for most of her adult life. If any part of that sounds familiar, stay with me, because understanding why this happens changes everything. To understand this fear, you have to go back. Way back. Not just to your childhood, but to the very beginning of what it meant to be human. For hundreds of thousands of years, being alone was genuinely dangerous. If you were separated from your tribe, you didn't just feel sad, you died. Predators, starvation, the cold. Solitude wasn't peaceful, it was a death sentence, so your brain evolved to treat social disconnection as a survival threat, the same way it treats a snake or a fire. That panic you feel when you sense you might be left, that's not irrational, that's ancient. That's your nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do. Now, bring it forward to childhood. Psychologist John Bowlby, who developed what's known as attachment theory, found that the earliest bonds we form with caregivers, with parents, become the emotional blueprint for every relationship we'll ever have. If those early bonds felt unpredictable, if love felt conditional, if being left alone as a child felt like punishment or abandonment, your nervous system learned a lesson it never forgot. Being alone is not safe. Abraham Maslow placed belonging right at the center of his famous hierarchy of human needs, just above food and shelter. This isn't metaphorical. Connection isn't a luxury. To your brain, it is a necessity. And when this fear gets triggered, when you're ghosted, when plans fall through, when you sense distance from someone you love, your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, fires. Cortisol floods your body. Your chest tightens, your thoughts narrow, and your only goal becomes one thing: make the aloneness stop. That's the mechanism, and once you see it, you start to see it everywhere. This is where it gets uncomfortably specific, because the fear of being alone doesn't always look like crying in a quiet room. Most of the time, it looks like completely normal behavior. Behavior you've probably never once connected to fear. The first way it hides, staying in relationships that are slowly breaking you. You know something isn't right. You've known for a while. The arguments cycle. The connection feels thin, but every time you get close to the edge, close to having the real conversation or walking away, something stops you. You think, maybe it gets better. Maybe I'm overreacting. And you stay. What's really happening is the fear isn't weighing the quality of the relationship. It's doing a rapid calculation, known pain versus unknown aloneness. And to a brain that was wired to treat isolation as danger, a difficult relationship almost always wins over no relationship. You're not weak. You're running an old survival program. The second way it hides, always being the one who reaches out first. You're the initiator, always. You're the one who texts first, plans first, checks in first, and when you don't hear back quickly, there's a tightness, a quiet vigilance. You tell yourself you're just caring. You're just a good friend. What's really happening is you've outsourced your sense of security to other people's responses. Every seen notification that goes unanswered is your nervous system briefly reading as, you are being left. So you keep reaching out, not always from love, but sometimes from a need to confirm you still exist in someone's world. The third way it hides, filling every silence with noise. You always have music on, or a podcast, or the TV, just as background. Silence makes you antsy in a way you've never fully examined. You call it a personality quirk. You say you just like having energy in the room. What's really happening is silence is where the fear lives. In silence, there's no distraction from the question your psyche most dreads. Am I okay on my own? The noise isn't entertainment, it's armor. The fourth way it hides, becoming whoever the room needs you to be. Around your friends, you're funny. Around your partner's family, you're agreeable. Around your boss, you're whatever gets the approval. You shift, unconsciously, smoothly, and it only occurs to you later that you're not entirely sure which version of you is real. What's really happening is people-pleasing is often the fear of being alone wearing a social mask. If you become indispensable, if everyone likes you, if you never cause friction, then no one will leave. It's a logical strategy. It's also exhausting, and it never actually resolves the fear beneath it. The behaviors change. The root stays the same. And now it's time to talk about the two things that might genuinely shift how you see all of this. Here's the first truth. Are you ready? This fear once kept you safe at some point in your past, maybe in childhood, maybe in a relationship that broke you. Being attuned to the risk of abandonment was not paranoia. It was intelligence. It was your mind learning the rules of your specific world and adapting to them. The child who learned that love was inconsistent and that people leave without warning wasn't damaged. They were paying attention. The fear was the appropriate response. The problem isn't that the fear exists. The problem is that it never got the memo that you grew up, that you have more resources now, that you are not that child anymore. The fear is still running a protection protocol from a version of your life that no longer exists. And here's the second truth. This one is the plot twist. The harder you fight this fear, the stronger it gets. When we treat a feeling like an enemy, when we suppress it, distract from it, shame ourselves for having it, we don't dissolve it, we amplify it. Psychologists call this the rebound effect. The more you tell yourself, don't feel this, don't be this needy, stop being so afraid, the louder the fear becomes. Because fighting a feeling tells your nervous system there is something to fight. It confirms the threat. The counterintuitive path isn't resistance. It's something much quieter. What if you stopped treating this fear as a flaw and started treating it as a message? Because underneath the autophobia, underneath the noise and the people-pleasing and the relationships you've stayed in too long, there's almost always one of two things. Either a deep, unmet need to feel truly seen by another person, or an unhealed wound around the belief that you, alone and unwitnessed, are not enough. The fear has been doing its job, imperfectly, clumsily, sometimes destructively, but it has been trying to protect something tender inside you. So instead of telling the fear to go away, try something different. Try this, just internally. I hear you. I know you're trying to protect me. I know you learned this lesson for a reason, but I am okay. Right now, in this moment, I am safe. I don't need to run. That might sound strange. It might even feel a little uncomfortable. Good. That discomfort is the old wiring meeting, something new. You don't have to earn your own company. You don't have to perform for a silent room. Somewhere inside the fear, underneath it, there is a version of you that is genuinely, quietly whole. The fear has just been standing in front of it for a very long time. The fear isn't the problem, it's the doorway. Growth here doesn't come from fixing yourself. It comes from knowing yourself well enough that the fear loses its grip. Here are 4 specific tools, starting today. The next time you feel the urge to reach for your phone in a quiet moment, pause for just 60 seconds first. Don't fight the urge, just notice it. Ask yourself, what am I actually feeling right now underneath the boredom? You don't have to solve it, just name it. Naming a feeling reduces its intensity. Neuroscience consistently shows this. The next time you feel anxious about someone not responding, try asking yourself, is there actual evidence I've been abandoned, or am I responding to a possibility? Your nervous system cannot tell the difference between a real threat and an imagined one. You can. The next time you catch yourself shapeshifting to keep someone close, pause and ask, which version of me just showed up, and do I actually believe what I just said? You don't need to change overnight. Just notice the gap between the performance and the person underneath it. The next time solitude feels unbearable, instead of filling it immediately, ask, what would I do right now if I genuinely trusted my own company? You might not have the answer yet. That's okay. The question itself is the beginning. You already know more than you think. And the fact that you're asking these questions at all means the work has already begun. You made it to the end of this video. That means something. Not everyone who clicked away at the beginning was uninterested. Some of them were afraid of what they might find out. You stayed. And that quiet act of staying, of being willing to look at something uncomfortable and not run from it, that is exactly the opposite of what this fear would have you do. The fear of being alone isn't a character flaw. It's a wound that learned to walk around in the world like it was a personality. And wounds, when they're finally understood, can begin to heal. Here's what I want to leave you with. The relationship you have with your own company will outlast every other relationship in your life. What would it really mean, to finally make peace with it? Leave your answer below. I read more than you think.